Okay, hack number 4 and 5 are another glue up trick and clamp trick. Let's say I've got 3 pieces of wood that I want to glue together to make a big thicker piece, a leg. One of the biggest pains in the butts when it comes to laminating pieces like this is that they like to move around. So after I've got my glue evenly spread on, rather than trying to wrestle these things while I'm clamping them to keep them nice and square, I'll just take some table salt and just a couple, it does not need much, just a few little grains on it. It won't affect the adhesion and it'll keep that wood from sliding around. With my pieces glued and salted, I need to clamp them now. And again, no clamps, or just not enough clamps. So I cut out some simple C shapes with a mouth just wider than the width of the piece that I'm clamping. And you can cut this out on a scroll saw, a jigsaw, bandsaw, or even a coping saw. Now if you don't have a coping saw or any of those tools, you can just cut a small block of wood, again, a little bit larger than the width of the piece that you're clamping, and put a piece of wood on top and bottom and just screw it down and it does the same thing. Just make sure you pre-tap some holes so you don't split the wood. And then just screw them onto your block, leaving one side hanging out. Now with my C-clamps made, I'm just going to take it, lay it over the top of the piece that I'm clamping up, put a little wedge or shim in there. I made these ones myself, and just a little tapping pressure. And you've got a nice strong clamp to clamp those down.
All of woodworking, no matter if it's turning, carving, handwork, or machine work, is all about understanding how blades interact with wood. I'm in a situation right now where I need to continue cutting this very thin piece of wood right here, and if I'm putting pressure outwards to it, it will cause a vibration. So understanding that, I'm going to shift from a pushing cut where I have to rub the bevel and press out a little bit to a scraping cut where I'm just slightly touching the fibers. But understanding wood fibers, I'm going basically across the grain as a wood presents right here. It'd just be like taking your scraper, your card scraper, and turning it and going directly across the grain. It will cut just fine, but it gets a little bit fuzzy. It's not the best cut. It would be better if I could skew that scraper ever so slightly, and it would take a scraping slice instead of just scratching off the top surface. But I'm going to be using my bowl gouge. It has wings on the side. If I just place it sideways at a slightly negative angle so it's scraping off the inner side, I would be just like taking my card scraper and going across the grain. But because I understand my blade, I also understand there is a curve right here. So if I can somehow present this tip on this side slightly below center, that will be angled to the wood and it will give me a skewing cut. Let's check it out. Presenting the curved section slightly below, slightly touching the wood, and what do you get? You get shavings, not sawdust.
The best first step you can take towards assuring that your workshop measurements are precise is to compare all your measuring tools to one another. Here I'm using a piece of plywood as an end stop, and I'm just butting my rules of various length and yardstick and so on against there, and then I just compare the scales to one another to make sure they match. It's not uncommon to find at least one rule that doesn't match the others, and the best medicine here is to just get rid of it.